we've been learning about Musar, the Jewish ethical curriculum, in preparation for the introspection of the High Holy Days, also called the Yomim Noraim, the Days of Awe. So today's virtues and values that we are going to explore are silence, generosity, and truth. We're going to do something a little different today. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to get up from your seats and to read and explore the quotes that are on the walls around you. There are 3 different sets of quotes, one for silence, over there, on my left and your right, one for generosity in the middle, and one for truth over on your left. So what I want you to do is think about the one that draws you the most. Right? So whichever one you feel particularly curious about or drawn toward today, I want you to wander over there, do a little reading, and if you find something that speaks to you, stay there. And by speaks to you, I don't necessarily mean that you have to like it. I mean that it speaks to you in that it makes you curious about something, it makes you think of something, it relates to you, you hate it. If it speaks to you, stay there. If not, wander around until you find one of the quotes that does. And I will ask for a couple of brave volunteers to share what they got out of it at the end. So go explore silence, generosity, and truth. And if you can share so online friends, I thought of you, and you can actually participate by reading the attachment in the chat. There are some extras that are floating free on the chair to your right over there in Truth. If you don't want to all look on the walls, there are a couple of loose ones you can grab. Oh, everyone's going to silence. Wow. Okay, remember, whatever you say will be picked up by the microphones and will be recorded for all of posterity. Richard, you didn't like silence. Okay. Did you find something, Steve? Not yet? All right, keep going. Seek the truth. I'll get out of the way. I don't want to get in the way of the truth seeking. We have a lot of friends in silence. Okay, let me see some hands if anybody's found something that speaks to them yet. Wow, thank you very much. Thank you. Thinking I got to pick a whole new batch of quotes. All right, well, people seem to be either settling or giving up. Did you find something, Helen? Yeah, you got something? Okay. Well, I'm going to call on you, so prepare. I'll give you a little heads up. Okay, when you have found something that speaks to you, you may have a seat back in your regular seats. I'm not going to make you stand up forever. I'm practicing compassion as my value. Okay, so I'm going to start asking some people who are sitting down what spoke to them. So Helen, I give you a little heads up. Which was a quote that you liked? Truth. Okay. All right, Helen's saying that truth is one of the most important attributes, if you can't hear her. Mm-hmm.
And says truth is delicate. It's fabric so easily stretched and torn, that's really spoke to. And we're easily confused about truth because truth can appear before us in the guise of falsehood. Just as falsehood can show up in the practice of truth.
Indeed, and the truth is your son is being very loud and disrupting the whole class. So Helen was saying, yes, Brian?
Truth without kindness is cruel.
Oh, truth without kindness is cruelty. I have no idea who said that, but I say it all the time. So, but Helen was saying she liked that truth is delicate, and its fabric so easily stretched and torn, and that truth is confusing. We can be confused easily by truth. So that spoke to you. Nice. Thank you. Anybody else have a quote that they want to share?
Well, there is something that I don't agree.
Oh, you don't have to agree. Mira, what you got?
The barrier for generosity are likely to be not
Not only
fear,
resistance.
on fear, and I don't agree. I like what it says that about generosity, that you give willingly, but why is it based on fear?
Nira's talking about the quote for generosity that says that the barriers to generosity are likely to be built not of rationalization but of fear. So you don't think that there might be?
Fear of what?
Good question. What do you think? Feel of lack. So what do you mean by that?
Because I don't have enough.
Okay, so you might fear to be generous because it would detract from what you yourself have.
Correct.
Okay, so apparently Mira is not afraid of that at all.
It's not generosity.
Well, right, no, it's not.
That's
But yeah, it is. That was one that also sort of tickled me. I was sort of curious about it. So one more person. Go ahead, Steve, in the back.
In seeking wisdom, the first step is silence, the second listening, the third remembering, the fourth practicing, the fifth teaching others.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear that online, he was quoting. Steve was quoting the middle quote by Rabbi Shlomo Ibn Gibberol. In seeking wisdom, the first step is silence, the second is listening, the third remembering, the fourth practicing, the fifth teaching others. So why did that speak to you, Steve? How did that speak to you?
Well, for one thing, these days, people don't listen to each other.
What? Yeah, people don't listen to each other these days, for sure.
It's important to listen, to hear, to understand, to think about what people are saying and what you're thinking and reacting to it as well.
For sure.
But I think the last part, the best way to understand something is to teach. I find that very interesting.
Yeah, Steve said the best way to understand something is to teach it. I mean, that is why I do what I do. So there you go. I want to know, which one do you think is the most important? Truth, silence, or generosity? I mean, it's a trick question. Generosity. Okay, go ahead, Ron. Truth. Okay, tell me why. Without truth, you have nothing. Well, you got a pack of lies, but okay. All right, wait, Nira, you said generosity? Okay, so why do you think generosity is most important?
Because sin cannot be truthful, but generosity is sustaining people. So
Okay, yeah, generosity sustains people, and truth is sort of abstract. Okay, Adam.
I'll go with silence. Because without silence, you won't be able to hear the truth or understand the generosity because you're too busy making your own noise. So it's only in the silence that you can accept and understand everything.
Nice. So Adam's saying that in silence, it's the way that you can get to truth and to generosity. So it's sort of a blanket. So I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we're gonna wrap up. Does anybody want to share which one they think is the hardest for them? Go ahead, Cohen. Silence. I'm right there with you. Anybody else? Be brave. Share your truth. Steve.
We asked ChatGPT, why is my husband so grumpy? said he wants to silently listen to what he has to say.
Wow.
No, the first thing he said, I'm sorry.
Oh, I see. So you're telling me what you think Sunshine should work on. Is that what you're telling me? That's not the question. That's not the question. All right, ChatGPT. One more person, one more person. Which one are you going to work on? Jill.
Well, I would agree with Cohen on silence, because it's hard to not interrupt, and it is so important to first listen before you speak, to be able to grasp everything around you.
Thank you. I say that silence is the one we're going to practice since it got the most hits, okay? So this week, my prayer for all of us is that we can practice silence. Can you imagine how much writing I'll get done for the high holidays if we're practicing silence? Aha! All right, well, thank you for, it was a trick question. Thank you for indulging me in that different kind of learning experience for my Devar Torah. I would like now to call up Cheryl Stetcher, President Cheryl Stetcher, who will be reading to us all of the things that are coming up in the next forever.